What's up, YouTubers? It's Ernie, Blerd Without Fear. Welcome back to the channel. So, as you can see, I've some way, shape, form, or fashion decided to bust the old green screen back out. So here it is. It's in all its glory. So I decided to do this just because, I just want to add a little more production value to the videos, a little more razzle-dazzle, the way I used to back in the day when I first started this whole thing up and I had more room. We are here to talk about Death of Superman, the DC animated universe movie that technically came out very recently. I think it's like last week on digital, maybe a week earlier than that. Maybe drops on Blu-ray this week or the next, but has technically been like all over the internet for the past 2 months. This movie is supposed to be a slightly more modern reimagining of the Death of Superman. For those of you who remember that run on Superman where they introduced Doomsday, put him up against Superman and the Justice League of America, and it was pretty much canceled Christmas time for Superman and his, super friends. I really don't want to spend a whole lot of time just talking about the minutia of this film because, I honestly, there's really not a whole heap of a lot to it if you have read the comics that this is based on. It's pretty much what you would expect it to be. It's Death of Superman. This movie does a lot of things setting up the next movie because this is supposed to be part of like a duo of movies. There's supposed to be a Reign of the Superman movie coming out next year. So this movie does take a few shots here and there setting that up. So, there's a lot there. If you've read these comics, there's really not much I'm going to tell you that you're going to be surprised by. The one thing you probably will be surprised by is the fact that this movie does actually do a really good job of telling the story of Death of Superman in a more condensed format. They do spend a little bit of time on this romance plot that is not bad. It's actually pretty sweet and very heartfelt. I felt like the times they focused on the romance, it actually was not bad, the romance between Superman and Lois Lane. And they even do some callbacks to the romance between Superman and Wonder Woman. And I thought it was pretty cool. That stuff actually kind of worked. Another thing I thought worked was the Justice League as a whole. They actually took opportunities to bring in members of the Justice League from time to time throughout the film and have some moments where they can get a little bit of character development. They can get a few moments to shine. Though you'll probably see Flash a little bit more than most others, but still, I felt like Flash, Batman, Wonder Woman, they kind of came in, they brought the, I guess kind of the extra layers you need in a Superman story that Superman doesn't usually give off. Another thing I thought was really cool here too is that we also got some really good fight scenes and battle scenes between Doomsday and Superman, but also Doomsday and the Justice League as well, because in the comics, the Justice League, they just went out there and got bodied, because DC wanted you to know that, Doomsday was nothing to mess with, and that's what they did. He literally punched clone Supergirl into jelly and beat Booster Gold within an inch of his natural born life. And in this, the Justice League gets bodied, but they put up a good fight. But still, it's Doomsday, so, folks gonna get wrecked. It's really fun. It doesn't overstay its welcome. If there's any one thing I will say about it, the one thing I thought was kind of hit or miss with this is that there were a couple of moments here or there animation got a little dodgy in some spots. It's not enough to be like, oh man, this is just horrible, but it was it was a couple of moments that kind of just made it, I was like, man, I know DC animation to be better than this. It's not a lot. It's just, it's just every once in a while, it pops up and you're just like, ugh. Another thing I wasn't entirely crazy about was the voice acting in this one. The voice acting for the most part is on point, but there are a couple of choices I wasn't really crazy about in this movie. Jerry O'Connell does a pretty good job as Superman, though there are a couple of moments where I feel like maybe he's kind of pulling back a little too much. Rebecca Romijn did a really good job as Lois Lane, so I thought that was pretty good. Nathan Fillion, Shamar Moore, who play Green Lantern and Cyborg respectively, they did a good job there with what they had to do. They always bring it when it comes to these DC movies whenever they are cast in them. Jason Momoa's Batman, who is not my favorite Batman, but did a really good job as Batman in this one. He does as good as he always does. And Rosario Dawson did a great job with her role as Wonder Woman. The one person I wasn't really crazy about, though, in this was Lex Luthor. Rainn Wilson plays Lex Luthor in this, and he's not playing Lex Luthor badly. I feel like he chose the wrong voice to, throw at Lex Luthor. His voice just doesn't match the face and the body, the persona that Lex Luthor to have. It ain't Jesse Eisenberg bad. I would take Rainn Wilson's voice as Lex Luthor over Jesse Eisenberg any day of the week. But it's just one of those things, like the first time you hear Lex speak, it takes a minute to get used to his voice sounding that way. I can only imagine it's like the same type of culture shock that people got back in the 80s and 90s when they had only seen Mike Tyson fight but never heard him talk. And then, they see Mike Tyson on TV or they meet him in person, and then they would hear him speak for the first time and be like, that came out of you? And also, I want to point out that we got a little Black Lightning in this movie. It's not official Black Lightning. We got Cress Williams as John Henry Irons, which I think is kind of a funny little thing considering he plays Black Lightning on CW, and you got him voicing, Steel. I liked it. All in all, I thought it was a fun ride. I had a great time with it. It told the story that I wanted, to see. It had the stakes that I wanted it to have, and it was just an all-around, just enjoyable movie. And it actually got me, there was actually a moment there where I was watching, I almost forgot what I was watching. It's like, oh, of course, Superman. It's Death of Superman. Just duh. Why am I being a mark about this? Look, I've read the comic. I've read Death of Superman. But yeah, it had that magic. I knew it was going to happen, and then when it did happen, I still felt bad about it. I was like, oh man, dude, that hurt. That stung me too. Based solely on the strength of the fact the movie was able to make me forget that I already knew the outcome of it, just even if it was only for the briefest of seconds, I think then it actually achieved what it set out to do, even if that wasn't even its goal. I'm going to go ahead and say the Death of Superman is a solid A. Another thing I kind of wanted to point out here that I thought was just really weird is that when you find out, then you after watching this for a few minutes, that Cat Grant in this movie is black. Thought it was kind of odd. It just kind of happened. They were just sitting there, Lois Lane's talking, and this random woman's like, why are they putting so much focus on this random black woman at the Daily Planet? I don't remember any black women that are of any note at the Daily Planet. This is weird. Are they just creating new characters for this? And then Lois finally calls the woman Cat, and I'm just like, boo? Personally, I don't care, because, Cat Grant's kind of a... I dare people to act like they know who Cat Grant is right off the top of their head, unless you are the most diehard Superman or Supergirl fan. But anyways, let me know what you thought about Death of Superman, the animated movie. Sound off in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, Superman punch that like button. And if you want to see more awesome videos like this one, click subscribe so you can become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers and tap that bell so you know when I post up. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you all next time. Plus Ultra!